continue our discussion this one as soon as possible. All right, so are we clear with this one? This random as the type. So this is another randomizer in which you can limit it up to this and a certain number. Clear so far? Okay, great. So again, if ever that you have a question or clarification, so feel free to ask me anytime, okay? All right. So yeah, this is another alternative with the use of new random. Okay, so I'll not show this one to you guys anymore since it will just give you us the same output, just a different way on how to uh, generate a random number. Okay, so and since we wanted to generate up to 75, so that's the reason why we put here 76. Okay, this will generate 0 to 76. Okay, and at the same time we have put here a rep, the one that we did a while ago, but instead of rep, just another name of formula. Okay, because as you guys can see, yes, we have limited it up to 75, but it can still, there's still a possibility that this will generate 0, wherein in bingo we don't have a 0 number. Okay, so that is why if it doesn't match one of this condition right here, it will go to this else statement, and then we'll generate again another random number. Okay, so let's now move on to select case statement. So to make it simple, okay, let me just write it here. In programming, we have if statement, right? The one that I've been discussing all throughout until this slide right here, until slide 43. Okay, we also have this one select case statement. Okay, so those two are actually the same. Okay, so whatever this if statement can do, it can be also done on select case statement. Okay, so the same, vice versa, whatever this select case statement can do, it can also be done on if statement. Okay, so it's just that we have a lot of ways on how to do that one, like for example the random function. Okay, though this one has a bug, that's the reason why they created another function called randomize, which will generate again a another random number. And then there's another randomizer called the new random. Okay, so all of those three have the same role or functionalities. They create this one generates a random number. The same with this one, it can create as many condition as you want, and then it can give you as many condition, I mean statement, as you want. Okay, just a different syntax. Okay, so I hope we are clear with that one on how to use this select case statement. So here's the syntax. So we have here select case, and then the first condition, and then the statement that you wanted to execute below that condition, and then another condition, and then another statement that you wanted to execute below this specific condition. And then if we have else on if, we also have else right here. But instead of else only, we have case else. Okay, and then the statement that you wanted to execute if it falls under this case else condition. Okay, and then of course another, a different starting point, and then a different ending point. Okay, so in here we have end if, but in here we have end select. In here we have if, but in here we have select case. All right, and then uh, everything is much pretty the same. The concept is pretty much the same. It's just that the syntax is the one that is different. All right, so without a further delay, let's have this example right here. So in my own experience, uh, well, actually, this one is much more simpler to be, uh, to be precise, for exact. But since I have started using if and select, I mean if select, if else statement, that is the one that I always use. Okay, I don't really use select case statement. Okay, but for the others, they said that this one is much more simpler. So that's the reason why they stick in using select case statement, okay, instead of if else statement. So here's the example for the if else statement, and then here's the exact or equivalent syntax using select case statement. Okay, so in here we have if and then age is equal to 5, then and then the condition. But in select case, okay, or in case statement, we have this one select case, age the variable, and then here's the first case. So meaning this case 5 right here is equal to age 5. Okay, so yeah, just a different way of doing it. So if this one is true, then this condition will be executed. Okay, another condition is 13 to 19. So if you're going to take a look at this one, you can just use one word, two. But in if else statement, you have to do this one: age is greater than or equal to 20 and age is less than or equal to 35. Okay, meaning this one will, if it's 20 to 35, then this condition now is true. Unlike in here, you can just say 2, meaning if it's 20 to 35, then this condition now is true. So see, this one is much more simpler. Okay, so the same with this one. If it match 50, if it match less than 60, if it match greater than 60, or if it match less than 65. But in here you can just say 50 if it's equal to 50. If it's ranging from 60 to 65, then you are now under this case. Okay, so yeah, that's how simple and easy to use if I mean why if I keep on I saying if. So that's how simple to use case statement or select case statement. Okay, so in here uh 65 below, and then if it's okay, that's already it. Okay, if it's already 65 below, that's senior citizen, and then other than that, we call that one everyone else. All right, so if it's not within the range of these cases right here. All right, oops, the same with this one, just a different syntax for it. Well, anyway, since our focus in here is using select case, so our goal right here is to revise some of the made project that we have a while ago. Like for example, this exercise number 1 came from Bingo. So it is asking us to convert this one using select case statement. Okay, so let's do this one by one. Let me just check if we have that example. Okay, great. We don't have. Let's create a new one. New project. Or maybe no. And okay, let me just create a new folder because we have the same name of exercise number. Let's call this one select case examples. So that is where I will save my project. Select keys examples. And this one is exercise number 1. Exercise number 1. Okay, then create. All right, so in here what we need is a button. Oops. And let me just put this one right here for now. And we need numeric up down. This is the first example, so we don't need a button. All we need is 2 labels, and then a numeric up down, and then let's put it inside a label instead of a text box. Okay, Let me just make their font size bigger, 30. So let's call this one input a number, and this one is the generated letter. And for this label right here, let me just put a back color, which is yellow, and then let's make this one much more bigger, say size 90. Okay, so this is the one that we're going to program. Okay, not this button one right here. Then let's put it inside. All right, so as you guys can see, we're having an error because we don't have a name letter. We don't have a name end up down. The one that we're using is the default name of those components. So numeric up down 1. Okay, numeric up down if 1. Let me just fix this one. Mm. So I'll show to you guys the working if statement for now, and then we'll convert this one into a select case once this one is working. And this one is label 3. Wait, yeah, else if num 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 num. Okay, so we have to declare this num giving as an error. Label 3, label 3, label 3, label 3. There you go. All right, so let's test this one for now. So B, and then 15 is I, 16 and above is I, etc. etc. Okay. All right. So here's now the syntax for the if statement. And in a select case, so this if right here will become select case. And then instead of having this, kind of formula or algorithm, just replace it by the word 2, meaning it's 1 to 15. And then we don't have then. Okay, my bad. Okay, this one is under that. So select case num. Okay, and then num is equal to 1 to 15. Am I correct? Category is equal to 5 case 5. Num is 1 to 15. Okay, so we don't need that variable num to be equal to 1 to 15. So all we need to do is put here case. Okay, case 1 to 15. So if this is true, this will be executed. Okay, so we're still having an error since the others are not yet correct. So still case, 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 case. Else if will become case, and then else will become case, else. Yeah, case, else. And then this end if will become end select. Okay, let's see. Select case num, and then we don't need those then right here. And then instead of having this algorithm right here, again, just put here 2. Replace this one by 2, 31 to 45, 46 to 60. And other than that is now, of course, O. Okay, O, yeah, not 0. Bingo. Okay, let's save this one and then test if this is working or no. So there you go. They work the same. Okay, just a different way of doing it, different syntax, but the same output. All right. So Did you guys get the idea so far? Okay, very good, Mr. Adrian. So, I just have a question. So, what do you guys prefer now? Is it if else statement or select case statement? Just put your answer using our chat box. If else. If else pa rin. Okay. So, yeah, we have our own preference. So, in your case, it's if else. Well, also, in my case, it's still if else. I don't know why, but I got used in using if else instead of a select case statement. What about the others? Which one you guys prefer now after learning about if else statement and then select case statement? Case pauser. Okay. So, from there, medyo hati na tayo. Okay, yung iba, gagamit na neto. Okay, which is fine. My concern is if your program is really working or no. Okay, since we have our own ways of programming things. Okay. Okay, so most of you have chosen a case or select case. Okay, so that's a good thing because that one is much more easier to use than if else statement. Anyways, that's it for this one. And exercise number two is same concept. Okay, so I'll not show this one to you guys anymore because all you need to do is just do what I did a while ago. Instead of using if, replace it by case, select case, and then put here the variable. Okay, and then below that is the equivalent, let's say letter A, and then the statement below. Okay, so just start with this one first. Where is that one? This one right here, exercise number one. And then once you got an idea on how to convert this one into select case, you will understand this exercise number two and number three and number four. Okay. So in here, your exercise number four was actually your fifth quiz. Okay, on module 8 or week 5. Okay, so it's also 50 points. So I would like you guys to create a program using select case. Okay, select case statement. So even though make this one working, but you've used if else statement, you'll still receive a score of 0. Okay, so that is why you should only use this one. Okay, so are we clear with your exercise number 4? I mean your quiz number 5. This is your quiz number 5. Okay. So the due date of this one is June 18. So you guys have plenty of time. Okay, almost 3 weeks. So just do this one as early as of now so that you don't have a problem anymore. Okay. So in here I expect to have one input and then one output. Just like what we have in here. Okay, just put it on a numeric up down or just numeric up down and then display it using a label or a text box. So either plus so as long as I will see that if it's under age 7, I will see yogurt. If it's 7 to 12, I will see potato chips. And so on and so forth. Okay. And then here's the another exercise. It's asking us to revise this select. I mean this if else statement into select case statement. So again, I will not do this one anymore since they just have the same concept. Okay, just change this one into the word to, and then still inside the label, and yeah, everything is pretty much the same. Okay, just a different naming of variable and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's now move on to the message box. Okay, so in the message box, so this one is the one that is displaying a message or optional icon and selected set of command buttons. So the user responds by clicking a button. Okay, so in here, the one that you are seeing a while ago. Okay, so for now, let me just change this one into MSG box. MSG box B. BINGO. Alright, so let's just use this one for now, and then let's just show the output using a message box. So this label 3 uh, doesn't have a use anymore. So there you go. So for the 0 is B, or 1 is B, and then the second one is still B. Okay, so it will only be changed into 2 once you click this. Okay, but don't mind that one for now. What I'm trying to say here is this is a message box. Okay, so initially it will just display the message and then the title and then the word okay right here. Okay, so you can actually add more option like okay and then cancel or save, abort, retry, etc., etc. You can also change the title of this exercise number 1 into any title that you want. Okay, so let's do it using the following example. So here's the syntax that you guys would like to know. So here's the message. The first one is the message, the first parameter. The second one is the type. What type of message box is that? Is that just an icon, or it also comes with a button with an option? And the last one is the title. Okay, so I think they are very straightforward. But if you're confused, what are these parameters? You can check the description right here. Okay, so let's have this example right here. Let me just put this one to its original form. Bingo. And then let me just check if we have that example. Message sample box. Let me check this one. All right. So let me just check if it's this one. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So this is the message box example that came from here. Okay. So the first one is the message or the description, and then the second one is the icon. Okay, that you wanted to put in here. So in here we have an icon information. So in that, for you to be able to call that one, we have this function name right here, message box style that information. Okay, and then lastly is the title. So before we have the default name, wherein whatever is the name of your project, that is also the name of your title of the message box right here. But in here, once you change the title into anything else, then that is now the one that will be displayed in here. But in my case, I now have additional buttons in here. So let me show this one on how did I put those, oops, and how did I put those additional buttons. So still the same, the first one is the description, and then the second one is the icon. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm only using the word to, but you can, you know, you can use this longer name, but it actually has an equivalent number. So for the information, number 2 is the equivalent of that one, wherein it will give us this icon right here. And then the third one is the title. This is my title. Okay, so that is why we have this title a while ago instead of the word greetings. So I made some changes, okay, with this one. All right, so for this one, okay, so for this one, let's try to change this one into 1. Okay, so there you go. We now have an option okay and then cancel. Number 2 is abort, retry, and then cancel, I guess. So you can find it right here. Okay. So if you want to display an icon critical, you can use this symbolic constant message box style that critical, and then the equivalent value of that one is 16. So you can choose any of those. So if I were you, I'll always use the value because this one is much more, you know, smaller. However, if you're not familiar with the equivalence of this number right here, so I think it's much more safer to use this one. But if you're an expert, then you can use the value instead of the symbolic constant. So for the question mark, we have a message box style that question, and then for the value, it's 32. And then for the exclamation, we have this one, and then the equivalent value is 48. And then for the information, we have 64. Okay, wherein it will give us this information icon. And then for the options, okay, so if I will put here 0, it will only give me an option okay. So let's try that one. So there you go, I only have an option okay. But if I change this one into 1, okay, we now have an option okay and then cancel, which is coming from this one. And then if we have 2, it will give us abort, retry, and ignore. Okay. So there you go. We now have abort, retry, and then ignore. Okay. So those are the ways on how to put options. Okay, depending on your preference. So instead of using value, you can also use the word, I mean the symbolic constant. So let's say a message box style yes, no, cancel. You can also do that one. Okay, just put it right here. Okay, it will give us an option yes, no, cancel. All right. So either of those two will be fine. So symbolic constant or the value. Okay. And then from there, you can now create a complete message box wherein we have the description, and then we have the icon that you wanted to put right here, and then we have the option. Okay, message box style yes, no, and then the title of that message box. So instead of using symbolic constant, you can also use the value. So message box style that question is equal to 32, and then message box style that yes no is equal to 4, and then the same with the title. Just the way of calling the icon and then the option right here, or the choices. So are you guys getting the idea so far? Okay, great. Good, very good, Mr. Giovanni, and then Mr. MD, and then Mr. Stanton. What about the others? Are you guys getting the idea of message box on how to modify it, how to put some, additional uh, icons, additional options? Okay, so yeah. So what now? What will happen if I click yes? What will happen if I click no? How will I program that button yes and then button no? Okay, so we can actually put, I mean, you can actually get a certain value, okay? Like for example, right here, if I click OK, it will return a value of 1. Okay, so in here, let's say if the value is equal to 1, you can use if else statement, and then below it, what will happen if it's equal to 1? Okay, will it save? Will it close the pop-up message? Will it open a new form? Will it delete the selected, let's say, row or selected data? Okay, so the same with cancel. If I click cancel, it will return a value of 2. So what will happen if I will receive a value of 2? What will you do? Okay, so it, of course, since it's cancel, so it will do nothing. Okay, it will simply cancel everything. Okay, and then the same with the board. So cancel and abort are quite similar, and then retry is like maybe you're going to retry to execute another code, and then ignore is like maybe you received a warning, and then if you will click here, let's say maybe yes, then it will give a receipt. Uh, give you a value of 6, and then what will happen if you click yes? Or you can just simply put or you can just simply choose ignore. So if you will choose ignore, then it will just simply cancel everything, okay, or it will do nothing. Okay, so quite similar with cancel and then abort. And then for the no, so yeah, of course, quite the same with cancel and then abort, but mostly, so they have their own advantages on where you're going to use yes and no, abort, retry, and then ignore, and then okay, and then cancel. So, depending on your program, okay, and then depending on the statements that you're going to put below those option that you will put in there. All right. So we have an example right here wherein you can actually put the returning value. Let's see, if I click yes, uh, I will receive a value of 6 and then it will be stored on x. So this is now the one that we can use. Let's say if x is equal to 6, then it is now up to you what you're going to do if it's equal with that condition. Okay. It's just that I don't have an example right here, but yeah, that's the idea. Okay, if I click yes, and then if I click no, of course, it will give us a value of 7. Yeah, right here, 7. And then what will you do if we have a value of 7? What will you wanted to do on that specific functionality of your program? All right, so anyway, so yeah, that's how to program each of those buttons. Okay, all you need to do is receive the equivalent value of those okay, cancel, yes, no, ignore, retry, cancel. Okay, so we have here another example wherein we have two options. So okay is 1, and then cancel is 2. Okay, so same concept. Now, what will you do if you receive a value of 1? And then what will you do if you receive a value of 2? All right. So since we don't have enough time anymore, so we will just continue the rest. So don't worry, we now only have 8 slides remaining. So we'll continue the remaining slides on part 3. Okay. So goodbye for now and see you guys on part 3. So there's a total of 10 participants. So I'm expecting that there is also 10 participants later on. All right. So goodbye and see you guys later.